Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast in a Game 2 between Idra versus WhiteRa here on Shattered Temple. WhiteRa spawning as the red Protoss player here at the 6 o'clock position. Meanwhile, Idra spawning as the blue Zerg at the 9 o'clock position, close by air spawns, and I'm interested to see how exactly this game will play out. Now, a lot of you guys have recently been asking me, how come I don't cast more of my games? How come I don't do more of my own replays? And, well, frankly, I'm sorry to say, I have been playing very, very poorly as of late. And not only have I been playing very poorly, I've been playing very, very poorly. I think I'm currently 4-12 right now on the Masters League, not doing all too well. And some of those losses are against, middle of the road diamond players as well. Not saying that, diamond players are bad. I'm just saying that the games haven't really been interesting for me to cast my own. A lot of the times it's just me trying to execute a strategy, my old strategy that still seems to work against Zerg from time to time. But other than that, I haven't really been able to transition into the very heavy macro style of play that a lot of the ladder has been moving to. The ladder, it feels like it's been moving from, I would say, the state of the game, moving from a much more defensive style early on into very, very large battles later, just getting enough defense so that the minimal harassment defender's advantage very, very strong. And we'll see whether or not it plays out true in this particular matchup, as we now see Idra opening up with a spawning pool first. Interestingly, we are going to see a pylon now be placed down on the low ground, and WhiteRa may be going for a very, very fast expansion. He is going to be smart about this, though, going for a forge first, and that is really what is necessary. Forge first, especially if you see your opponent has gone for an early spawning pool. Now, Drone did make his way down. It looked like he was going to perhaps go for an early hatchery, but the drone did come back. So WhiteRa, perhaps knowing this and keeping track of this, knows that there's going to be a lot of harassment that he's going to have to deal with as Zerglings train up very, very quickly. Cannons, on the other hand, not so much. So this is not going to be good news at all. WhiteRa now sending up a photon cannon here. He's being very smart about this. He had enough minerals for a nexus, and he opted not to go for it, as he's now going to see that the Zerglings are going to chase around this probe, and he's kind of baiting these Zerglings into buying himself some time. The Zerglings also have to make sure... Oh, Zerglings are now taking down destructible rocks, interestingly. As the probe now tries to run home, it looks like it will be able to. Photon cannon is about to complete and trying to add a little bit of a wall there. And now even the Overlord going to take a bit of damage down to 121 before it gets away, as a nexus has now been established as well. Idra not playing any games, wanting to get a very strong economy. He's going gasless now. One of the few races that can actually go gasless early on because of the strength of those queens and defending bases, and also the movement speed bonus for those Zerglings in order to just try and fight back. Cybernetics core now being added as well. We'll see if this wall off will be completed, as we are now getting up a zealot, a probe now trying to do some scouting, and Idra really wants to make sure that these rocks are not discovered. If WhiteRa is able to scout out this expansion, then he knows something is up, but I don't think WhiteRa thinks that anything is really going to be happening there. He just wanted to make sure that a hatchery was being placed down. He saw that the hatchery was nearly completed, and now a Zergling, so a Zealot now going to go out and try to perhaps do a little bit of a counter push, as well as there was an Overlord now in the air. There is also one Overlord on the high ground, just far enough away, but I think WhiteRa will be able to clean that up in just a moment, as Zergling's now chasing down a Zealot. This is not good news for the Zealot. The Zealot now trying to hide himself, hugging up against the wall. Is it going to be enough? No, he may get surrounded, and taking a little bit more damage once again. The Zealot now backing off as a Stalker now comes in to engage. So the Stalker trying to help it out. The Zealot down to 48 hit points. And now the Zerglings going after the poor Stalker. But without metabolic boost, those Zerglings are not going to be able to deal too much at all. Zealot now getting those shields recharged. We are getting that Cybernetics core as well. You can see WhiteRa just chrono boosting out probes, trying to get a strong economy going, as he is now going into a Stargate, the standard play after that Forge 2-gate fast expand. or sorry, Forge Fast Expand, and now going into 2 gateways and also getting that Stargate. That Stargate, is it hidden? I'm not sure if Idra actually ever saw the Stargate. As you take a look, no, he did not see the Stargate, so he may not be able to fend it off in time. And now going for a Roach Warren. Normally, that would be a very, very strong choice. But because we are seeing Void Rays, if we see even a second Stargate or starting to Chrono Boost out Void Rays, those Void Rays will be able to eat through those Roaches very, very quickly, as Void Rays have the same movement speed and also can attack move, essentially dealing close to 40 damage a second. Void Ray now being Chrono Boosted out. We'll see if a second Void Ray is going to be Chrono Boosted out as well, as the Zerglings now make their way to try to take down these backdoor rocks. Backdoor rocks already dangerously low on hit points here. A Zealot is in position. Cybernetics Core Gateway Warp Gate up tech about to be completed, as level 1 weapons upgrade is also being researched. So WhiteRa moving out with some early harassment, looking to deal some damage, and we'll see how effective this is. With 1 Void Ray in the air, he should be able to hunt down a couple of those Overlords and shoot them out of the sky. Spore Crawlers now being added as well in order to fend off against this Void Ray. The Void Ray, does he know about this hatchery? No, he does not, but he is going to quickly find out about it, and this is just the worst news. Queens now trying to make their way over. The Queen, and now Phoenix coming in. Graviton Beam, this is going to be a huge loss there, as Zerglings are now trying to come in. It looks like the Stalker will be able to get off an additional damage there, and now the Queen has to be very careful. The Phoenix unable to Graviton Beam. Zealots now trying to engage, and now the Void Ray in the backfield trying to help finish this off. Is it going to be enough, as Zerglings now come in swarming from behind once more? There's another Graviton Beam. Void Ray going to focus this down, and now this may be a problem, as the second Queen is going to get taken down as well. Oh, no, it is not taken down. Void Ray could have taken it down, but then comes a second Queen. So Idra now getting some additional creep tumors. WhiteRa behind 60 compared to 76. 46 drones compared to 45 probes. An Overseer being added as well. Not quite sure what that is about, as we now have a Zealot in position in order to try to stop all those attacks. I believe Zerglings can slip through here. I'm not 100% sure. We'll have to take a look at that a little bit later, as WhiteRa now knows that he is even on bases, or rather Idra is going to currently be up, but because it is a gold, really going to take a very strong lead now, as the Phoenixes now look to do a little bit more harassment. Spore Crawler in position, and now all he can really do is go Overlord hunting. So Overlord hunting now about to start. You can see that the Hydralisk Den is going to take a lot of damage very, very quickly. Now getting a full charge. Not quite sure where the Void Ray is going. Perhaps going to try to attack the main base instead, as a macro hatch now being established. And there's not really much that these Phoenixes can really do except pick up Queens and take them down. Idra with a lot of Queens, though. This is going to be bad news for that Void Ray. Void Ray does get taken down. 1 Void Ray down, as the Zealots and Sentries now trying to battle it out. The Sentries do have level 1 weapons upgrade in addition to the Zealots, but this is not going to really be enough, as Roaches and Defenders advantage definitely for Idra, and now going to go after a couple Hydralisks as well. Another Hydralisk gets taken down. Another Hydralisk going to get taken down as well, and there you go. All 3 Hydralisks now destroyed. The Phoenixes have to be careful, though. They do not want to stay so close to that Spore Crawler, but Idra does not have very much to defend with right now, as the Zerglings and Hydralisks are now looking to engage. The Stalkers do have level 1 weapons upgrade, which will help him out, and now go Graviton beaming those Hydralisks once more, serving them up on a platter, and still dealing even more damage. It looks like another Phoenix will get lost, but really Idra still slightly ahead. 43 drones though compared to 46, as what the drone count's telling a different story. WhiteRa behind on food, but Idra Idra behind in terms of workers, running off of 2 bases, as the Stalkers now clearing out these destructible rocks. So Idra already with, WhiteRa already with level 1 weapons upgrade will be able to take down those rocks very, very quickly. You can now see Overlords now trying to get in position. Overlord spread, making sure that any drops or any flank attackments are quickly revealed. A Phoenix now out with 107 energy, desperately going and looking for more Overlords. I do not think he will find anything, as these rocks have been destroyed, and a Nexus will be established here, and then perhaps a pylon, and then a couple gateways established over here as well, as the Overlord now doing a bit of scouting. not able to drop down creep in time, so this one overlord not going to really be able to do much of anything. Another overlord here going to start dropping creep as well. 5 gateways, warp gates will quickly have that creep proceed as the overlord now gets shot down. 3 bases to what will eventually be 3 bases for WhiteRa, as Idra needs to figure out what his long-term strategy is. He is now getting a little bit more drones, but he is still slightly behind. He has those gold mineral patches, so better rate of return, but I'm not sure if that's really going to be enough to win the game, as the Hydralisks are now being added, or as Hydralisk able to shoot down another one of those Phoenixes. We'll see as a robotics bay now being added. If Colossi are able to get in a lot of splash damage, that will greatly change the game, as we now figure out what will be happening here in just a moment. Roaches and Hydralisk now going to be doing a little bit of a push. Just very far range on those Hydralisks. Hydralisks with a range of 6. Roaches now with a range of 4. So the Hydralisks are just pounding away, and it looks like those Hydralisks able to deal a significant amount of damage, but now getting trapped by those force field. Roaches unable to push through, and a very nice defensive position by WhiteRa means that he will be able to engage very well. And now we also see Idra using creep to get movement speed bonus for those Hydralisks. This is very important. Speed bonus on those Hydralisks, and now damage is being dealt to the gateways and warp gate techs. Zerglings perhaps will be able to run in all of a sudden as damage is being dealt. Stalkers, Immortals, Sentries, and now in comes the push. Force field should be coming down, pushing back all of those units. A lot of the Hydralisks now unable to engage. WhiteRa in a very defensive posture. We'll see if it's going to be enough. Immortals are now getting destroyed as well, but much of this army is currently not attacking. Finally, the force fields do go down. One Immortal going to get quickly focused down there as the Stalkers, Immortals, and Roaches continue to battle it out here. And it looks like Idra is going to be able to take this game over WhiteRa, as another round of reinforcements now coming in. Level 1 weapons upgrade on those Hydralisks, and a Hydralisk being the hero in StarCraft 2 Wings of Liberty, a unit that we rarely ever see. Idra now with about a 60 food advantage. More and more Hydralisks coming into the middle of the field, and we'll see how much damage they're going to be able to do as the Colossi now making their way forward. More and more damage being dealt, and I don't think there are enough Hydralisks to really deal with the Colossus, as the Colossus does... more than enough to deal with the Colossus, as the Colossus does not have that extended thermal lance range. The Hydralisks can just easily focus down onto that Colossus, as the Colossus has the same range, and really Idra just almost A-moving with this group of units and getting in a lot of damage here. That Colossus already down to 144 hit points. Hydralisks and Roaches still continuing to push in. More reinforcements coming in. And WhiteRa, I believe, will be waving the white flag of GG in just a moment, as there's not much WhiteRa can do in order to stop the swarm. And there it is, GG. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Stay tuned for another game between Idra and WhiteRa.